You know you should wait for the setup. You know moving your stop loss is a mistake. You know revenge trading is the death of your account. Yet, you do it anyway. It feels like there's a traitor in the cockpit. You're in the pilot seat, but something else is pulling the strings. And here's the science. You've spent hours analyzing the charts. The setup is clean, the risk is defined, the plan is clear. Yet, when the moment comes to enter the trade, you freeze. And because you can't explain that freeze, you blame the strategy. Most traders assume the problem is their strategy. They tweak their indicators and they change their time frame. But that's not the problem. The real struggle is the gap between what you know and what you do. You know you should wait for the setup. You know moving your stop loss is a mistake. You know revenge trading is the death of your account. Yet, you do it anyway. It feels like there's a traitor in the cockpit. You're in the pilot seat, but something else is pulling the strings. And here's the science. This isn't a character flaw. It's your primal architecture hijacking the controls, treating a simple red candle not as data, but as a direct threat to your survival. If you've experienced this, you're not alone. This pattern is shared by most traders. Your attempt to control or eliminate these involuntary reactions is in reality fighting against a default neural architecture, an architecture designed for survival in nature, not for risk management in the financial markets. This isn't a glitch in your system, it's a mismatch between an ancient nervous system and the modern risk environment. But we're not the first to struggle. Humans have faced this problem for thousands of years. How do you protect yourself from yourself when desire becomes stronger than reason? To find the blueprint, let's analyze a legendary masterstroke, the moment a human brain was intentionally re-engineered to survive its own nature. Let's go back to the heart of the Mediterranean. Odysseus, the great hero, had to pass through a realm that no captain dared to approach, the domain of the Sirens. These creatures didn't kill with weapons, they killed with their voices. They sang in a way that bypassed reason completely. One moment you remembered who you were, the next, all you wanted was to follow the sound. Just like a trader who knows exactly what to do, yet suddenly wakes up to realize that he just wants to follow the noise in his head. For those ancient sailors, that noise was the siren song. One note was all it took. You'd be mesmerized, you'd forget who you were, forget your mission, and only one desire would remain: to throw yourself toward that sound, into the embrace of death. Odysseus knew this. He craved the truth, but he refused to pay for it with his life. So he didn't gamble on willpower. He hacked the moment of choice. He engineered a decision architecture. He ordered his crew to plug their ears with beeswax. No sound could get through, but for himself, he had his crew tie him to the ship's mast with thick, heavy ropes, so tight that even if he lost his mind and screamed to be released, those ropes wouldn't let him take a single step off course. When the ship reached the area, the air was filled with the intoxicating song of the sirens. The crew kept rowing, unaware of the war happening inside Odysseus. But Odysseus, he heard everything. Every survival impulse in his body pushed him toward the sounds. In that moment, the urge felt more real than survival itself. He strained against the rope with all his might. The veins in his neck were bulging, but the ropes didn't budge. And that's the paradox. He heard the truth without becoming its casualty. Now, do you think Odysseus belongs only to the dusty page of his story? Think again. Every moment you sit at your chart, that ship, that mast, and the song of the sirens come alive right there on your desktop. The only difference is, in this story, you are Odysseus. that urge to adjust your stop loss, that buying more without confirmation, that desperate need for revenge after a loss, and the fear of missing out, that song of the sirens. In that moment under pressure, logic is usually the first system to go offline. You cannot leave your survival to a mind that is already under the spell. If you don't have a written trading plan, you are a sailor without beeswax and without ropes in the middle of a storm. Your trading plan is your mast rope, your anchor. It is there to hold you in place when pressure rises, impulses get louder, and clear thinking starts to fade. But if a written plan is such a powerful anchor, why do thousands of traders who spend hours writing their plans still break them in the heat of the moment? Because most plans are documents, not decision architectures. The notes are too loose, the rules are too vague. There is no friction, no enforcement, no pre-commitment. So the moment pressure hits, the ropes go slack. And this is where the bitter truth of trading reveals itself. You know what a stop loss is, you know your entry rules, but your hands shake anyway, and you cut those ropes the moment the market moves. Whether you are in a sweet profit or a terrifying loss, in those moments your written plan doesn't even exist. Listen, this is where most traders remain trapped for years. The problem isn't that your plan is wrong. The problem is that you're trading in the modern world with an ancient nervous system. When the market sirens start singing, your brain switches into survival mode. Those ropes become nothing but worthless paper, snapping under the combined flood of adrenaline and cortisol. You beat yourself up. You lie awake at night wondering, why did I do that? But tomorrow, the cycle resets. You're stuck in a cycle that willpower alone usually can't break. You're a hero who hasn't yet learned how to tie his hands to the mast. You're just swimming in the storm, exhausting yourself. This is where Synex Lab steps in. We don't teach you to force more willpower. Under market pressure, willpower is often the first thing to fail. We train the mind behind the trade to recognize pressure, reduce impulsive reactivity, and build decision structures that hold when emotion rises. Because the goal is not to eliminate fear. The goal is to stop letting fear design your trades. This is the end of all those sleepless nights where you ask yourself, why did I break the rules again? If you're tired of being a puppet to your own nervous system, if you want to build a mind that can remain stable under pressure, it's time to break this cycle of self-destruction. We don't sell strategies here. We help you build a trader's mind that can stay grounded under uncertainty. There are no get-rich-quick schemes or empty signals here. This is a laboratory for understanding and training the mind behind your decisions. Are you ready to build the structures that keep you aligned when temptation rises? Then subscribe right now and enter Synex Lab. It's time to stop fighting your brain blindly and start training it deliberately.